majority were prepared to use fear to justify repression in the name of public safety. It was 1950, peacetime, but war was high on the agenda of a secret gathering in Ottawa. Government officials are briefed by senior officers of the RCMP, then the leading agency of national security. They have a plan of breathtaking audacity. In the event of crisis, a preemptive strike against people deemed to be the enemies of Canadian democracy. 5 years earlier, this man, Igor Gouzenko, had fled the Soviet embassy in Ottawa with files revealing a sophisticated communist spy network throughout the United States and Canada.
You are Mr. Igor Gouzenko?
That's right.
And you are the man who exposed part of Canadian Soviet espionage system in 1945.
That's correct.
Gouzenko and the hood he wore in public seemed to offer confirmation that the world was full of sinister conspiracies, that the communists had fanatically faithful friends in Canada, and that the world was but a blink away from another global war. By the early 50s, the doomsday scenario was easy to believe. The outbreak of war in Korea was a rehearsal for World War III, which would be a war between democracy and Soviet dictatorship, a war with the potential to annihilate the human race.
The communists were elusive, hard to find, and the Canadians were given the task of chasing after them.
The prospect of a war that could be fought with nuclear weapons gave renewed legitimacy to espionage.
Well, there was a very great fear of the war between the Cold War becoming a hot war again. You know, it was very intense.
Robert Kaplan, who would one day become Canada's Solicitor General, officially the Minister of Spies, came of age in the Cold War era.
The atmosphere was so different in those days. You know, people really, the public was scared of a communist threat.
Fear can generate extreme reactions. An American politician named Joseph McCarthy shrewdly demonstrated in the early 50s that the fear of communists had huge political potential.
Communists, it's not fit to wear that uniform, General.
Question is, have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
The American public for years would tolerate the public persecution of people tainted with the accusation that they were communists or soft on communism.
I remember in my high school back in the early 50s, we'd come to school and we'd sit in our classroom and listen to the McCarthy hearings on the radio.
Whether you are or have ever been a member of the Communist Party,
Horror, very strong disapproval. We just thought it was wrong.
If Kaplan was alarmed by what was happening in Washington, he'd have been appalled by what was going on at home. In August 1950, it would turn out that Canadians were no less vulnerable to fear. As Canadians nervously observed the unfolding public witch hunt in the U.S., the government of Canada approved a secret and potentially more menacing assault on civil liberties. The plan was called Profunk, targeting prominent functionaries and groups believed to be pro-Soviet. It was a strategy of breathtaking ambition, the targeting across the land of people with communist affiliations, sympathies, even family connections. And it was approved in its broadest outlines by the government of Canada. It was the brainchild of the RCMP Commissioner, Stuart Taylor Wood. He'd led the National Police Force for 13 tough years, from 1938 through World War II to the spring of 1951. He had a not surprising interest in national security and a preoccupation with identifying and, if necessary, neutralizing spies. This is a letter to the Minister of Justice in February 1950. The Commissioner sets out his master plan to spy on and, when necessary, to intern 16,000 suspected communists and maybe even 50,000 of their sympathizers. Internment. It's a word with a lot of nasty baggage, most of it derived from excesses in distant places. South Africa, Siberia, the ghettos of Eastern Europe. own dark history of internments. Ukrainians, Italians, Japanese, Canadians, in the early 40s, communists. But pro-funk was unique in Canada, not just for